Welcome to our next episode of Talking Tech. I'm delighted to be joined by a very special guest and my colleague, Nasser Ali Kassaoneh from our Dubai office at Evershed Sutherland. Nasser leads the technology, media and telecommunications sector globally at Evershed Sutherland. Nasser, welcome to Hong Kong and welcome to Talking Tech.
Thank you very much, Reese. It's my first time on Talking Tech. I'm very excited. It's wonderful as well to be in Hong Kong with you and our TMT team. I'm looking forward to meeting many of our clients and our inaugural TMT Dinner Club event tonight.
Nasser, I'm keen to get your thoughts on 2019. As the global head of our TMT sector at Evershed Sutherland, 2019 has certainly been challenging for a lot of our clients, the arrival of a lot of emerging technology. How do you see 2019 sort of in review?
Yeah, I think it's been a really good year for technology and for digital transformation. Essentially, digital transformation cuts across all sectors, and 2019 has been a year of change, adoption of new technologies, a lot of new trends that we're picking up on, and a lot of sort of intensifying of the trends. So if you pick across the various sections, as it were, of digital transformation, fintech. So we're seeing investment skyrocketing in the fintech sector. I think in Asia and the US, the investment in fintech has doubled over the last 12 months. So a real interest in that. Also in line with that, I would say regulatory innovations, many centers around the world adopting sandbox approaches, reg hub approaches to encourage and spur fintech innovation. So a lot of interest there. If you look at artificial intelligence, we're seeing a great, more focused approach around artificial intelligence and thinking about ethical AI, making sure that AI is used for the good of society and for the good of industries. One great example we have is from our London office, where we worked on a major deal for one of our pharmaceutical clients that worked with another company to develop AI solutions to help develop cures for a rare kidney disease. I mean, that's wonderful when you see AI for good, as I believe some call it. So that's been great. Another area very close to our hearts, legal tech. That's been growing very well this year, but still, to be honest, I think the adoption of technology in the legal sector has not been as fast as other sectors. In our firm, we're developing many solutions, for M&A transaction, dispute resolution, and this is being picked up by our clients, and we see a lot of interest, but I feel we're at the beginning of a shift in gears in terms of legal tech adoption.
You mentioned it just then, 2019 certainly in Asia has been the year of adoption of a lot of these emerging technologies from our clients. I guess looking into your crystal ball into 2020, do you see the regulatory landscape starting to catch up on that adoption, or is that sort of more into the future?
No, I think 2020 will be a more intense year, as it were, when it comes to regulation. I think across the world we're seeing more and more regulatory activity, legislators, government trying to come to terms with the fast pace of technological advancement. I think the key really for me is striking the right balance when it comes to legislation. At times it's important to make sure there's certainty, and that spurs investment and growth, certainty in the legislative framework. But at other times I worry about over-regulation and having that stifle innovation. So striking the right balance, I think, is the name of the game. And I think 2020 will be a year in which there'll be a lot more engagement around that.
So if we pick a particular example, artificial intelligence, it's unquestioned the power that artificial intelligence presents to our clients and the power that it holds. As you know, earlier this year, 42 countries came together as part of the OECD to determine whether a regulatory framework would be best served for artificial intelligence, or whether self-regulation and industry standard was the preferred approach. Unsurprisingly, the 42 countries were quite divided in their approach. How do you see that balance working out?
Yeah, but I think the law, as always with technology, the law is catching up with technology, and technology is presenting new problems, as it were, for the legislative process. So if you look at AI, I mean, one area we're interested in is sort of data protection, or the intersection of data protection and artificial intelligence, because AI systems involve machine learning, involve sort of the accumulation of data towards the improvement of the solution. And at many of those points, do you get the consensus consent of the subject, etc.? Is there issues that we need to regulate? So that is a fast-moving area, and I think the legislator needs to look cautiously at that and see how to regulate that. I understand in Hong Kong there's been some moves towards that, or towards striking that right balance.
You know, that's right. The Hong Kong Privacy Commissioner released late last year an ethical accountability framework. And ultimately the framework is designed to ensure that human intervention still plays a role for a lot of our clients when they're deploying artificial intelligence to derive value from data. I think the big unknown right now is really what's inside the box that operates artificial intelligence, and this framework is going some way to ensure that there is a human element always at play in these questioning. I guess picking up on Hong Kong and sort of closer to home, cloud computing is obviously a very topical point of discussion for our clients, whether we're going for a private cloud, public cloud, or a hybrid adoption. And in light of some of the data sovereignty rules that are coming out of China, interested to get your thoughts on where the Middle East is in cloud computing and data sovereignty.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of our own practice in the Middle East, a lot of our clients asking us for advice on the shifting sort of regulatory or legislative frameworks around cloud and data. It's interesting. I think across the Middle East, we're seeing a variety of legislative attempts at sort of controlling cloud migration and also adopting some data residency requirements. I'm seeing, if there's a trend there, I would say a move towards a hybrid model in terms of legislation. So sort of with certain types of data saying sort of use of the cloud and data migrating outside your own country is fine, but then we're seeing more regulation in certain sectors. So when it comes to the migration of data in government transactions and contracts, seeing a more conservative approach. We're seeing sometimes a more conservative approach when it comes to health and when it comes to other certain sectors. So I'm seeing a move towards heavier regulation, more focus on data residency, but also I'm seeing more and more a trend towards a more mixed approach in that sphere.
I think it's fair to say that if 2019 is anything to go by, we're set for a very exciting 2020. Thank you for joining us in Hong Kong, Nasser, and thank you for joining Talking Tech.
Thank you for having me.